We tend to fixate on isolated disruptions from AI's rise to the social media's grip, a long shadow of the pandemic. We miss the greater truth. These aren't separated phenomena, but interconnected systems of a profound transformation. When we step back and we look wider, we realize that the tremors we feel are the tectonic plates shifting beneath us, not random earthquakes. We're not witnessing scattered changes, we're watching the birth of an entirely new era. Now let's look at some of the factors causing those tectonic plates to shift. There's some interesting parallels here between the 1920s and the 2020s. Each started with a pandemic. In the 1920s, we had the 1918 flu, sometimes called the Spanish flu. 2020s, of course, started with the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic, we leapt forward 5 years in digital transformation. In those first 30 days, we went into lockdown. So pandemics have a way of ushering in or rushing in new eras. So in the 1920s, it was the electrification era, the second industrial revolution. The 2020s, it's the augmented era, the fourth industrial revolution, sometimes called the cognitive age or the AI era, all the same thing. Labor disruption in the 1920s was physical. Physical labor started getting replaced by electrification, certainly in the home as well as in work. The cognitive era that we've entered now is we're seeing AI starting to replace some of the cognitive tasks that used to be solely the domain of humans. The work hour in the 1920s got capped at 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, because of certainly labor unions, but it actually started with Henry Ford. Henry Ford discovered that a lot of the accidents were happening on the production line in the 9th, 10th, and 11th hour. So he capped the workday at 8 hours a day to optimize for physical labor. Now we're looking at ways to optimize for physical labor, cognitive labor, and well-being. So we're looking at hybrid work week, 4-day work week experiments happening all over the world, flex time, focus time, etc. Gender role changed in the 1920s. White women got the right to vote in the US as well as in England, 1965 for the rest of the US population. We started to see the changing role of gender. Women started to enter the workforce in greater numbers, which peaked in the 70s. 2020s, we're starting to see a change all around the world around gender and sexuality, which was once fixed in binary for everybody, but for the younger generations, we're seeing a lot more fluidity. And that is a social issue that gets turned into a wedge issue, but it is happening all around the world at about the same rate. It's worth noting. Income inequality. We had the highest levels of income inequality within the United States in the 1920s. The highest since has been the 2020s. Around the world, we're seeing greater income inequality across countries, but greater income inequality within countries, certainly in the US. Migration. We have the highest percentage of people who, as a percentage of the population in the US that were born outside of the US, highest rate was 1920s. Second highest rate is now in the 2020s. It was just under 14% in the 1920s, and now is about 15%. We're also seeing people migrate more all around the world. So people are moving away from climates that are no longer inhabitable, social, political unrest in places they don't feel safe anymore. So we're seeing just a general movement of humans. Where we're seeing less movement is here in the US is actual geographic mobility within the US. So in the 1920s, there was something called moving day. People moved so much there was actually a moving day. 20 to 25% of people changed homes every single year a new address. Back then we had lower levels of home ownership, so it was rentals, but people were moving into that shiny new apartment or their slightly bigger house. It was a sign of social mobility and progress. Now that rate is around 8 or 9%. Some of it may be to higher levels of home ownership. But the fundamental thing here is two things happen. One, when people move more into new environments, they're required to create new social networks in real time, not just virtual social networks. So they join bowling leagues or book clubs or Rotary clubs. They talk to their neighbors because they're creating new community. If people don't move, they don't feel that need to create new community. Also, we've got things augmented with social media. So first, the impact of lower movement and lower new social connections is a decline in trust. This is really important. Decline in trust across the boards. We don't know our neighbors the way we used to. We're not meeting new people. We're not forming new communities. That's a social impact. The second order impact is economic. We had higher levels of entrepreneurship. When people move around, they take greater risks, they see more opportunity, they start businesses. About 40% of our Fortune 500 companies are started by immigrants, people who are moving to new situations, trying to create new opportunity. Now we have very low levels of entrepreneurship relative to the 1920s. So this is a concern. So social concern, but also an economic concern. And then finally, between World War I and World War II, we saw a rise of fascism around the world, which culminated with World War II. After World War II, we saw a rise in democracies all around the world, which has been in decline over the last decade for the first time in 70 some odd years. So is this just a big history lesson? In some ways, but also it shows you the factors of those tectonic shifts. So first, it begins with an existential crisis. The pause causes us to reorder what we do in our lives. So the bubonic plague gave us the Renaissance, the 1918 flu gave us the roaring 20s. I think the COVID-19 pandemic is giving us a reshifting around what work means to us, what we want out of work. More people are looking for purpose in work, self-expression in work, flexibility in work. So we're seeing a lot of those things. Clearly, we're shifting to a new economic era. We're seeing societal and cultural changes. They're becoming wedge issues that are used against us when I don't think that's actually productive. We have more in common than we have in difference, but these are societal and cultural issues that people have different feelings about. Similarly with the geostrategic issues, we don't know what our alliances are going to be or what the global alliances are going to be going forward just yet. So these are the factors of those tectonic plates that are shifting, ushering us in a new era. It's not quite formed yet, but it's important to understand your workforce is going through all of these changes as a society, as humans.